friends, it's Becky, and the beads were good again this week. Welcome to my weekly wrap-up and chat where I show you what I made this week, talk about how things are going, what my plans might be for next week, and whatever comes up and is on my mind. So this week I was determined to do only easy projects, and the reason for that is because I had just spent like a whole week doing some more difficult and complicated projects, and I wanted to give my brain a little bit of a break, because sometimes you work on things and it's challenging and it's rewarding to meet those challenges, but sometimes you need to go on like autopilot mode a little bit, or just do something simple to get those connections in your brain working right, so that you're making things and not just trying to figure things out all the time. Although I did do some troubleshooting this week, and I'll show you what I did with that. But it was really great because I actually had a lot of stuff that I had to do at work this last week too that required a lot of, the concentration and like getting my head down and working on it that way. So being able to unwind after work with simple projects, with easy things that helped. It was so helpful for me, and it made the whole week so much easier, and I had just a better balance this week than I have in probably a couple of months, maybe. So it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. So that was why I did it, and I'm probably going to try and do like a balance of maybe one complicated project a week, but then we're going to go back to some easier ones, because it's nice to have easy projects. It's nice to have something that we can all do, And even if you're learning like maybe a new skill or something, or a different technique, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. You can still make something absolutely gorgeous using simple techniques. And that's what I did this week. I made pretty things. Very pretty things. The first very pretty thing that I made was this necklace for my mom. This is a Mother's Day necklace, and I know, Becky, why doesn't she have that? It's because it's going in the mom box, and it will be sent to her hopefully before her birthday, and I'll have some other things in there for her birthday. But this was the necklace that was made for my mom using her favorite color of blue. And all of these beads and the findings and everything were from the Gina's, is it Gina's Gem Creations? I don't know what GGC stands for, but yeah, she does a little box that is, maybe once a quarter she puts together a box with some beads, and it's not a subscription, so you have to be on the ball. And I had finally got my hands on one, and then I didn't make anything with it, and then I was like, wait a minute, look at this color. This is exactly the color that my mom loves more than anything. There was this bowl that it's just a little candy dish, but it was that color, and it was one of my favorite things to like look at. It was always on display in the front room, amongst the things that we weren't supposed to touch because we could break them. It's very pretty. Anyway, so I made that for my mom, and then the next thing that I made was the troubleshooting thing, where there were some beads that came in the last Magical Mystery bead box from Jesse James Beads, that they were just the lucite flowers, and just the blue ones. Those were the only ones that didn't have a hole in them. And it's an oversight. What's not a normal thing, actually. It's absolutely not a normal thing to experience from them. And they're making up for that, by the way. They are going to be sending an extra in the next box, in the May box, which I should be getting tomorrow. So since they've already been posting some tutorials for that, I don't think I have to wait for an official unboxing for that. I'm going to go ahead and just unbox it and upload that when I get it, because they've already posted some tutorials using that on their channel that Jennifer did. So I'm not gonna wait. We're gonna see exactly what's in the next box, but they put an extra thing in that box to make up for the fact that we did not have holes in those beads. And so, because I am what they call in the industry that I work in, which is the IT industry, a solution-oriented person, I like to fix problems. I like to untangle Tangles, I like to solve puzzles. In fact, my knitting group, the people there would bring me their tangled skeins of yarn. They were like, I can't untangle it. And they'd bring it to me and I would put my project down and I would sit there happily untangling their yarn all night. So I like to fix things, which can be a problem when, you know, like family comes to me or friends and they're like, oh, I have this problem, because my brain immediately goes to let's fix it, let's fix it, let's fix it. And so I've learned to step back and say, do you need to vent or do you want me to try to help you fix it? And like asking that makes it clear to them that I want to help them, but I'm not trying to fix it if all they want to do is just get some support, you know, somebody to listen to them. Because sometimes that's what fixes it, not trying this a different way or talking to somebody a different way. Just having somebody understand can fix the frustration that somebody is feeling towards something. So that's something that it took me like 30 years to learn that, though. It's been a road to do that. But anyway, so fixing things for these lucite beads on these earrings, we just glued them into these bead cap things to make them into some earrings, and I glued some things in the middle of them to make them even fancier. And they are very, very dangly. They could be shorter if you don't include this bead up here at the top, but like it's dusting the shoulders, it's doing the thing. And then another solution was, instead of just ignoring the hole and using glue like we do with this one, and where's my, there it is. It was all turned around and behind the thing, so it wasn't going in right. Yeah. So I got my earrings, and then the other way was to just drill a hole. And so I had a little tool, where is it? This pin vise drill. I got it for doing, when I was doing the polymer clay beads, I got it for making holes in the polymer clay. And it works great for this. It works a lot better than a bead awl would, or a bead reamer would. But anyway, so I drilled a hole and went ahead and made it into a focal with some of these other flowery beads on the sides. And then I used some of the Jessie James beads, leather chain that got made to go with the wildflowers box. So this was a lot of wildflowery things. This is how it hangs on my neck. This is how it hangs on there. I know it's hard to see, especially with these like shapes that roll around and do weird things on the mat, how they're going to actually hang on a person. So it's helpful for me to put things on like this. But yeah, you can see it's super flowery and floral, and I love it. But that was probably the most complicated thing that I made this week, was this one. And it was just because I was like, I gotta figure this out. I thought I didn't have that problem. I thought I was going to figure it out for other folks. And then I discovered that I was also experiencing that problem. So we got that all done. We got that all figured out. We can move on from there. But, whoop, there we go. Let's see, what else did I do? The next thing that I did was I made a necklace and some earrings using the Tree of Life kit. This was the design kit that they put together for Soft Flex for the TGBE the Spring Fling TGBE, and they had a lot of tutorials that they did using these, and I had opened it and oohed and awed and started making plans with it, and then got distracted by other things, because this is what I do. I get distracted by other things. And so I sat down and I said, you know what? I want to make with this. I want to do something with this TGBE kit, and I want to make it an easy, simple project. So I just did some basic stringing using some of these beads and this focal. Hold on, my you may have noticed my chair has been deflating. I'm not shrinking. My chair is deflating. Anyway, I need a new chair. But that's another thing. We'll get to that another day. It's not important right now. What is important is that I made this, and it was really fun and a relaxing way for me to unwind after a very hectic day, by the way. So I really like these. They are they're kind of like fall, but not really. And it kind of goes along with sort of the theme from the Sam's Bead box that we opened this week. Forest, Earth's wonders sort of thing. It's foresty. It does make me want to go camping. I love the woods. I love the mountains. I love being up away from everything and just listening to the sounds of the wind through the pine trees and the way that the water like just kind of bubbles and burbles around when it runs down a creek. And it's just one of those things where like my soul misses that. I spend so much time just living life, working, being with people, and I think maybe I need to plan a chance for me. My son, he really enjoys being out in nature too, and he doesn't get a lot of chance to do that. So we've been talking about maybe planning a camping trip at some point. Just where we live, we're so far away from so many things, that so many places that I would want to camp. Maybe there's some places here in Texas that would be fun to go camping. I just know that I like places where it actually gets a little bit cold at night when you're in a tent, and you don't get that in a lot of places here in Texas in the summertime. But we'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do, because I really miss it. I miss being just out with the trees and with nature and with just the quiet solitude and the silence and everything. Yeah, so making these brought that sort of thing back, and it was very nice to be able to make with things that made me think about and remember the times that I've spent just out in the wilderness. It's pretty wonderful. But then the next thing that I made was the bracelet. It's just a bracelet that we made using the curated bead box, and it's just bright and sunshiny, and it fits, and it was so easy, and all we had to do was just plan it out and then slide some beads on there. And I did color blocking, so I didn't have to worry about like what order to put everything or anything like that. I just wanted something where I could take these really bright and beautiful colors and just wear them all together. And that's what I did with some memory wire. So that was the next thing that I made. And then it was the Sam's Bead box stuff, and I made some earrings with those. And I know this might not seem like a super easy, simple project with the wrapping the wire around it. Maybe it's because I've done it so many times that it feels easy to me, but it feels easy to me. It feels like it was an easy project. And so I included that in my easy projects week, where I sat down and made some earrings because I love making earrings. Earrings can be such a quick and rewarding and satisfying project. And, in April, I made a pair of earrings every day. I'm not doing a pair of earrings every day this month, but sitting down to make like a few of them at a time is not a terrible, terrible thing. This was the ones with the earth charm, because the theme for that box was Earth's Wonders. And so they were looking at ocean and forest. So that's where you get like the greens mixed with the blues. And I mean, you could say the blues might be like a lake up in the mountains, and then you've got your greens, and you've got your owl coin beads, and all those fun things. And all of these go with my top. Look at that. I didn't even plan that. So we've got those, and then this was the last one, the heart ones. And I had a couple of you guys say that you really appreciated me leaving in there when I was like, you know what, I don't like this. It's not working, and starting over. And I just, thank you for appreciating that about me, because I don't want to be somebody who pretends like I'm perfect. And I don't have my ideas work out every single time. You know, like I screw up. It happens, and I want you guys to be able to see that because like I just don't ever want to pretend like I'm like the most perfect jewelry designer that ever lived. I make mistakes, and the worst that could happen when you make a mistake or when you do things wrong or if things aren't working out the way you intended, the worst that can happen is you start over and you just do it over again. You know? And so being able to work out why it didn't work out right, it's pretty fun. And then starting over and having it work the right way. That second time, I love these, the cloisonné hearts. They are so pretty. I love them so much. Oh man. But then I also off camera, I made this bracelet and I used some of my beads that I sorted a couple of months ago. They were my my bead soup kind of beads. And so like I had sorted them sort of into colors. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick out some pink beads from that. And then I added some seed beads I had gotten from Jill Wiseman. They are the shimmering copper lined rose beads. And then this is a capture chain that I got from Nile over at Silver Silk. And I'll put a link to this specific capture chain because it's like this burgundy color of wire over an antique copper core. So it looks really cool and it's all rosy and pretty. And so I made this and I actually was wearing it during one of my, I can't remember which one of them was, but I made it and I was wearing it during one of my tutorials that I did this week. But I had followed a tutorial that Nile did. It was just a really quick, super fast tutorial that he did where he used some wire and he just made these little figure 8 links that have an opening big enough to slide over the capture chain, and you end up with like this really cool, kind of funky looking bracelet. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab my capture chain and some of my bead soup beads, and I'm just gonna make myself a little bracelet. And that's what I did, just following his tutorial. I'll put a link to his tutorial in the description as well, so you can do that. I'm putting links to all of my tutorials, and I'll put a link to his tutorial because I followed that for this one, as well as where I got the capture chain from. And then I also did another one that was following somebody's tutorial, and that was on the Potomac Beads channel. This was in the Potomac Beads kit box. So I made this. It's just a herringbone necklace, and it was really fun because you just keep going and you do your herringbone in different sizes, and it can be a necklace, or I added an extra gemstone to give it a little extra length, and I can wear it. It's long enough to wear as a wrap bracelet. So it's one of those double duty sort of pieces of jewelry that I can do with that. So I did that. I'll put a link to that tutorial too. That's on the Potomac Beads channel. And so I made that. And it was something that I made without being on camera because sometimes I like to make things without being on camera. Just following a different tutorial or following a kit. I love kits. I've mentioned before how much I love kits. So that was something I made from a kit. And then this is the one that I just finished making yesterday, and I made it using the Adornable Elements subscriptions that I had gotten, and there were 3 different subscriptions that went into this. There was the seed bead subscription, there was the 2-hole bead subscription, and then there was the I'm on rotating, and this month's rotating for me is the Hot and Trendy, and that's where you get the daggers. But it was kind of interesting because when I was making it, I thought I was mathing right and I wasn't. And so I ended up with not enough repeats on one end for the other. And I had to add some extra length at the end of it. But this is how it fits now that I've made it long enough for that. And it's just off center. My button is a little bit more on this side of my neck than the other, but it's not bad. It's not going to be detrimental to my wearing it. But this is a really soft, romantic kind of a colorway. This is perfect for me to wear while I'm watching Bridgerton season 3, because that is on right now, and that is what my plans are for the rest of the day. By the way, I'm going to be watching Bridgerton season 3 and messaging my sister about it, because she is the reason that I even started watching it in the first place. I don't see my sister that often, but when I do, it's like my favorite way to use my vacation time is going to see my sister, because I can just hang out with her and we can read in the same room. We don't even have to make conversation, but we do. We giggle and we laugh, and like we'll watch girly stuff together, you know, like we'll watch Bridgerton, we'll watch some Hallmark movies. We love to do that stuff. It's just one of those things that we do as sisters together. So she's already watched like 3 times. So I was like, have you watched it yet? And she says yes. And so I'm like, all right, well then I'm gonna go watch it. And since she's watched it, then I don't have to worry about spoilers if something happens and I message her and I'm like, can you believe it? Speaking of Bridgerton, did you guys see that Jesse James Beads has a collection that is Bridgerton themed? It's called the Society Papers collection, and the beads are awesome looking. I am probably going to be buying some of those. Just to let you know, probably going to be doing that. But yeah, this is definitely going to be wearing this while I watch my Bridgerton season 3. If you guys have seen it, don't do spoilers for me, but just let me know if you enjoyed it. Because I haven't watched it yet. And then finally, and you might actually be watching this before you see the tutorial for this, because I have not uploaded it as of yet. I'm going to upload this first, and then I'm going to upload my my weekly wrap-up. But this is a necklace that I made with the Gemstone Orphanage box. It is a bi-monthly subscription box, but this is the gemstone that came in my box, and I wrapped it with a shank button. I used this button that came in there to make the bail for it, and I'll show that in my tutorial. And then the rest of this was just really simple. It looks like an illusion necklace, but it isn't. It's using these tube beads to do that. And look at these flowers. I got to use some of them in my necklace. I love them so much. This is a very, very floral, very pretty, very May oriented box. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but they are also doing a tween box. And the tween boxes they don't happen every time they have some space between the months, but they do when they want to do a theme for it. Like they did a tween box last year that was for Halloween. They did a Halloween themed tween box last year. And so there's another tween box it's Firecrackers is what it's called, I think. And it's Gemstone Orphanage over at Homester and Jewelry. I'll put a link to that in the description below. They just released it today. I went ahead and ordered. When I was there, they had maybe 20 left. So hopefully by the time you see this, if they still have some left, you're able to grab one. But it's patriotic colors themed. It's red, white, and blue. And there's a sodalite pendant or gemstone that you can get with it. And then it's all other gemstones in there. Not as many glass beads, so it's chock full of some goodies. So I think it'll be worth it. I'm excited to get it. I'll open it up when I get it so you guys can see it, and we'll make something with it. But there's gonna be like some charms and stuff too, some flags and flip-flops and summer themed. But this was what I made with the May box that I got a little while ago, and I just made this today. I was like, you know what? It's time for me to make something with it. And there's so much more in there that we can make. I already have ideas for some of the other things in there, but we'll get to that. We will absolutely get to that. So anyway, that is all the things that I made this week. And again, my plans for this coming week are going to be, I think we're going to have one complicated project, and then the rest of them will be simple, because that seems to be what's working for me, working best for me. And I really like doing easy projects. I really like making things that are easy for me, that are easy for you, and that look great when you're done with them. You don't have to complicate things to have something pretty to wear or to make something pretty for someone else. It doesn't need to be complicated. But anyway, so I'm going to upload this. I'm going to upload this, and then I'm going to go and watch Bridgerton and, I don't know, make some dinner later and chat with my sister about it. And I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend, and that you have a fantastic week, and that you're able to find some time for yourself to do something nice for you, to spend some time with some family, to just enjoy the wonderful weather if you're having good weather. Get outside, have some nature, listen to the breeze. You know, I hope you are able to have that if you can. And I hope that I will talk with you next week. Bye.